The film begins with young Tim. He is only 21 years old, but already has a decade of experience living in a psychiatric institution. Today is the day of his release, and he wonders if he should do a live stream to share his experiences at the place with everyone. Tim has an older sister, Kay, who is extremely intelligent, almost like a spectre coming from the underworld to retrieve him. Seeing her younger brother healthy and back in the real world, she cannot contain her happiness. Although their parents have died and joined their ancestors, the siblings are not financially disadvantaged. They have enough resources to lead a quiet life. However, Kay does not want this. Despite having a good husband and a home where she could be genuinely happy, she abandons everything, defying the circumstances in search of a mysterious mirror. She believes that this mirror was responsible for their parents' deaths, turning their father into a murderer in the eyes of society and forcing Tim, who was only 10 years old, to shoot his own father, being marked by the stigma of parasite. The laser mirror is an antique with material and historical value. Marie, Kay's mother, always liked to have some antiques to make the house more elegant. Alan, her husband, listened to his wife and bought this large mirror, placing it in his office. Strange things began to occur from the very first day. The mirror was placed in the house. Kay, playing hide-and-seek with her brother, accidentally saw a mysterious woman in the room, being a cheer that his wife and children would hear, and things did not stop there. One day, the family dog started office completely disheveled. The books were meticulously scattered across the floor. He called the children and asked, but they insisted they hadn't done it. He called them in and scolded them severely, but Alan viewed the situation differently. He believed the children were just scared and wouldn't have the courage to confess. Moving to a new house may have made the children a little mischievous, but that would soon pass. The dog was growing weaker and weaker. It would stay in one spot, watching instead of playing with Kay or Tim. It showed no signs of life like an animal on the brink of death. Eventually, the dog disappeared, but no one in the family noticed because so much was happening. Every night, Marie heard a woman's voice coming from the office. Alan began spending more and more time there instead of being with the family. This made Marie suspicious, questioning whether her husband was bringing another woman into the house, cheating on her secretly. Alan was already tired of the pressures of work, and now his wife was becoming irrational, talking about strange problems in the house, from contaminated water to infidelity. That night they had a big fight, and Tim and Kay, who were sleeping, woke up to their parents yelling. At least they didn't decide to physically harm each other. Thus, the siblings were worried, but not terrified. The climax happened when Alan announced that he would be home late. Under pressure from everything, Marie began to ignore the children and drink in front of them. She asked Kay what the woman she saw in her father's room looked like. Kay, even being young, knew it was better not to say anything. But Tim did not understand and told what he knew. At that moment, Marie could take no more. She ran to the office and began to throw Alan's things on the floor. When she began to calm down and pick up the objects, she looked at the mirror. Something compelled her to throw an object directly at it. Immediately, a strong gust of wind blew, hitting Marie's face and making her head tilt back. She had been possessed by a demon. At that moment, the mirror used Marie's reflection, smiling subtly but with a demonic malice. It opened its shirt to show a scar on its abdomen, which was becoming increasingly distinct. She let out a horrifying thing. Marie extended her hand and tried to struggle Tim. Kay, even scared, did not just stand still. She tried to push Marie, then ran upstairs, closed the door, and hid. Marie pursued them. At that moment, Alan returned from outside. She tried to attack her husband as well, but he was faster than the children, pushed her hands away, and struggled her until she lost consciousness. Alan realized that something was very wrong with her. He temporarily took her to the bedroom and tied her up with iron chains to prevent her from attacking the children. He also warned them to stay away from their parents' room so Marie could recover quickly. Kay and Tim understood and tried to keep as far away from the room as possible. The two were terrified of their mother. The more they thought about going there and causing problems. But one day, the television in the parents' room broke, and there was no food left. Kay told her father. It was time to go to the market and call a doctor for their mother, simply saying he would do it and not lifting a finger. Kay, although young, was not foolish. This attitude showed he had no intention of acting. To go to their parents' room to try to talk to their mother. But Marie was even more unstable now. Completely out of her mind, she jumped from a corner as if to grab her daughter. If Kay had not dodged, it could have been fatal. Her mother was sick and her father did not care. Kay decided to take the risk mischievously while she was sick. Hearing this, the neighbor had nothing more to say and left. He did not realize that Alan's hands were stained with blood, a tragedy both in the present and in the future. One day, the siblings saw Alan sitting motionless motionless in front of the mirror for a long time. Then he picked up a gun from the table. Kay and Tim went to see what was happening. They saw the demon emerging from the mirror, its face pale and eyes glowing with a sinister and strange light. The children ran terrified back to the room. Alan, instead of shooting his wife, went to her room and freed her, allowing insane Marie to go to the children's room and terrorize them. After waiting for some time and hearing no noise from outside, Kay told her brother that when she opened the door, he should not worry about anything but run. She would take care of the rest. Just as Kay had said, the moment they stepped out, Marie was there. Without hesitation, Kay used a golf club and hit her hard to let Tim escape. Then she fled to the next room, opened the window, and jumped. Kay could have left at that moment, but Tim was still inside. She went back and found Tim hiding in a corner. Marie jumped firmly, grabbing Kay's neck. Just when it seemed she would kill her, Marie regained a fragment of sanity and released her grip. At that exact moment, Alan appeared from behind and shot several times, killing his wife. Seeing this, Kay took Tim to the office. The children realized how their parents' personalities had changed. The kids knew that the mirror was the cause of everything. They took a bat and began to hit it repeatedly. They struck with all their might for a while, but they did not hear the sound of glass breaking. Looking closely, they realized they had been hitting the wall the whole time. Alan came in from outside and pointed the gun at Kay. Tim, beside her, did not stand still. He used the bat to hit their father's hand. The gun fell to the ground. Alan did not pick it up but tried to pay. Tim grabbed the gun and shouted for his father to let his sister go. He did so not out of fear, but because at that moment Alan had regained his sanity. He pulled Tim close and told him to run. Then he killed himself. After Alan's death, the demons surrounded them. They could not kill directly, so the two siblings survived that night. The police mistakenly believed Tim had killed his father and arrested him. Before they were separated, Kay screamed to her brother that when they grew up, they would need to come back there and destroy the mirror. That is why after more than 10 years and facing so many horrible things, Kay still could not let go of that old grievance. What was at stake was the honor of Alan and Tim. She was determined to clarify what happened that year. Kay set up 3 cameras with different power sources